Good morning. How are you? I hope you're doing fine, or at least hanging in there like I am. I have written down some dreams, visions, and Jesus encounters. So the first one I want to start off with July 5th, 2019, California had received a large earthquake. If you're from California, I'm pretty sure you must have experienced it anywhere near the central area. So that day prior, I had gone to the beach in a used, barely purchased RV. Well, I never made it back home because it burned down to a crisp. I'm kind of just, squeezing all this into one. So we came back all distressed. The only thing that we were able to save from that RV was my Bible, which didn't fully burn up all the way, but just enough to prove to us how alive the scriptures of the Bible truly is. And I will show you. There you go. That is a burnt Bible. You can see the back got saved. The front didn't get saved, but you can see the back. And I believe because there's a scripture back there, if you can read it. From 1 Peter 1:3, it says, "In his great mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead." I think that's pretty awesome. Anyways, I really did like this book. It was like brand new. It was barely given to me and it burned. So there you have it. I will open up the inside. You can see it's still readable. Okay. This is crazy. And here it only starts off with Luke. So pretty much all the Old Testament leading up to the New got burned up. But again, this is something that I hold on as truth. Not even the boundaries of life, physics, pertain to God. His own fire can't burn up his own words. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, so that's that. Pretty messy book. So, from there, I was only able to take home that book out of all our belongings that day. We had returned, and it was roughly around 8 p.m., and we had experienced, a lot of shaking. And at first, I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't hear anything from the news or nothing like that. And I just remember saying, what is all that banging going on? I was already so stressed out. If I just speak word for word on our trip, it was like the enemy was really trying to mess with us. But I knew that there was angels with us, so it was awesome. The whole house was shaking, and then I realized it was an earthquake, and I had just gotten one of my children into the bath, and I had to rush her out, and I grabbed my other child, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I didn't know what to do, and everything was shaking. And finally, as it calmed down, it stopped, and I had to calm my nerves and my children. And finally, I got my little one back in the bath. And then, as I had her in the bath, my other one, she was then 3. She's 6 now, but she was 3 at the time. And it seems like it wasn't forever ago. We're going to go on 2022. Sorry. Anyway, she's playing with her ponies, right by my feet, playing with her ponies. And I hear her, talking amongst herself and playing, and what a little kid does. Then all of a sudden she stopped and she gave a gasp. And she said, excuse me, she said these words, "Mommy." And I look at her and she said, "He's coming." And I'm looking at her like, what now? What's going on now? And I look at her eye level and she's like, "He's coming. He's mad. The man." And then she proceeded to play. And I thought to myself, what? And I asked her, I said, what are you talking about? Tell me again. What, I'm saying her name. And like, tell me again, what did you say? What did you say? Tell me. I was just on and on. But she wouldn't tell me no more. And I knew not to ask her anymore because I wasn't stupid. I knew who the man was and I knew why he was mad. That's Jesus. The first time he came, he wasn't angry. He was, just showed his humbled self and, taught the people. But now that the people know him for over 2,000 years, why would he come back nice and sweet and soft? Okay? That was what I was thinking. And I knew deep down that she meant that when Jesus returns, he will be in his wrath. He will be angry at the people. And, from the things I've seen, I'm even scared, okay? So she said those words, and I knew I had to start telling everybody. Anyway, so in that same year, it reached late fall of 2019. This is another one now. This is we're going on to another date. Same year. I was sweeping my kitchen floor and I received something deep in my spirit. And it wasn't more like hearing words, it was more of knowing the words were dropped into my spirit. And I received the words, "I am going to shake the earth." And so I stopped, I paused, and I looked around and I said, well, then I guess this means I don't have to get ready anymore. I don't have to put my makeup on, do my hair, get ready, go anywhere, or do anything. And then guess what? People started getting sick. We did too. And then that lockdown happened. And the same thing that I said to myself was exactly what happened in the year of 2020. Everybody was in lockdown and no one was really getting ready or going anywhere or doing anything. It was that insane. So, that's what happened. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of looking at my pages here. So, of early 2020, I received a lot of dreams of fires. And if you know about California or live in California, you do know that we were suffering massive amounts of dark air. How do I explain this? It was just smoky everywhere, and you couldn't even air out your house if you cooked, because you would receive in the smell of plastic and just burnings of everything you could think of that would just stick to fabrics in your home. It was that bad. And what looked like what looked like night was actually during the day. We didn't really see the sun, and if we saw the sun, it was a dim, dark red. Very scary. So I saw those dreams, and then those fires came to pass. In August 9th, 2020, out of nowhere, my child was hit with a kidney disease, and I was very angry, very upset, very sad. I was just not in the place of happiness. My child was at the hospital and I couldn't be with her. They only allowed one parent, so her father had to be with her because I had my other two. And I remember I was angry and I was crying and praying all day long to Jesus, asking him why and things like that. And then I got angry. And I remember I prayed and I said, Jesus, I want you to tell me. Everybody has been saying for over 2,000 years that you were on your way and you never showed up. Well, I want to know. I don't want any middleman telling me. I don't want no sign in the street to tell me. I don't want nothing even in the Bible to tell me that you're coming. I want you to come in your own voice, in your own words, to tell me if you are finally right around the corner on your way. And I want you to tell me now. I was very angry. I was very upset. To have that boldness to say to Jesus, don't ever expect to get a quick answer or even an answer at all. He's not obligated. Well, out of all my stress, I ended up going to sleep at 3:22 a.m. And I remember before I could even doze off fully, I had heard this voice, an elderly man's voice. Still to this day, I don't know who that was, but he was talking and talking and talking for I don't know how long it seemed. And I remember I kind of woke up a little bit and I said to myself, I think I need to write this stuff down. But I was so exhausted. I didn't. Could have been useful information. But the only part that I heard was, because it was more like mumbling, I couldn't really hear what he was saying. But he said something like, blah, 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 because. That's all I heard was because out of his mouth, out of all that rumbling. I then heard another voice come in, like it overlapped his voice, like it went in front of him is what it seemed. And I heard the words, I am coming, in such a soft, beautiful voice. Like, I knew it was Jesus. I knew it was his spirit. It was his authority coming in and giving me those words that same night, from that same day that I demanded he tell me. He didn't have to tell me. I wasn't even expecting it. He knew I wasn't. He waited till I went to sleep, or prior to going to sleep, I was literally dozing off. I was still half awake. When I heard those words, I just jumped out of bed and I started looking around for the voices, for that elderly man's voice and for Jesus' voice. And I looked around and I remember I said out loud, I said, Jesus? And I'm looking around and scratching my head like if it was all scripted. And it didn't frighten me. I wasn't scared. I was very relaxed. And I was able to go back to sleep. I just laid back down and went back to sleep. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, wow, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. So, anyway, so I just wanted to share that part with you. So just if you want to go back and listen to the words that I was demanding of Jesus, for him to tell me that is a big one. He is on his way, and he knows that I would eventually share this. So thanks be to God that I share that he is on his way. You will have some things tell you sometimes, or people make you doubt that he isn't. But I would put these words on Jesus, not in a disrespectful way, but in a way where I can actually say he can approve of these words. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm realizing I'm like roughly 17 minutes in. I really don't like to do long videos because I have to go back and rewatch it. So let's kind of speed this up a little bit. Sorry. So this next one is from 2020. I had a vision encounter of Jesus, and I remember I was watching Jesus movies in my room, and all of a sudden I look up and I see Jesus looking at me, and it looked like he was laying down, and he was like just beat up brutally, just whipped up, beat up, punched up, however you want to call it. And he was looking at me with his eyes, and in his eyes he told me, to my eyes, I died for your sins. And then it went away, and then I started crying. So that was crazy to me. I thought I was kind of tripping, but no, I saw him. I never forgot that one. I think I have other ones that I did as well, because I had 3 encounters of him. Sorry. Actually, no, I didn't write that one down. Oh, yes, I did write it down. Sorry. Okay, so another time I was laying in my bed, and it was, broad daylight, and I had seen him standing above me, and he was shining in such great sparkle, and he was just dazzled in perfection and glory and righteousness. It was so amazing. And everything around him was black. He was the only one shining and glowing and showing off his righteousness without even trying. And then that vision ended, and I started crying again. Now, if I cry, I can't explain why. I just cry because it's so beautiful. He's so beautiful. So I cried. It looks like I didn't write down another one. But I had another vision encounter of Jesus. I was putting my baby to sleep at that time. It was last year. And it was around roughly 3 p.m. And I was patting her to sleep, and I looked up on my wall, and I saw Jesus I was standing in clouds, and they were in colors of blues, baby blues and baby pinks. And then I seen Jesus coming down some stairs with his arms out, and he was looking at somebody, and he had this beautiful smile. And he had like this wavy, curly, dark brown hair with short beard and mustache. It looked like it was grown out, but in a perfect short way. Beautiful white, bright, long teeth, smiling from ear to ear. And he had his hands out, and I looked over to my left to see who he was trying to receive. And I seen this beautiful woman, and she had a veil over her head, and you can see her face, and you can see, she had the head covering, and she had white clothing on, and she was running to him. So all this was taking place in slow motion. And then I'm looking at them too, and as they're getting closer, I realized her nose, it looked so familiar. So then it made me look at her entire face. She was kind of just, I was looking at the side of her face, so that's all I was able to see. And I realized in that vision, I said to myself, that woman is me. And she was running to him. I was running to him. And once I realized I was running to him, it's like I wasn't standing in the third person anymore. I was her, because that was me. And Jesus was coming closer to me. And I kid you not, this translucent ball, it's like in the spirit, things in a sense that you don't know here on earth. I can't explain it. And you don't have to use your senses to know it, like hear it, smell it, or taste, or any of our senses. So I knew that there was this great ball that was translucent. I knew it shot out of his belly, and it rushed in and penetrated my belly. And without making any, movement or sound or seeing it or anything, my spirit, I knew that's what happened. And as soon as it shot into my belly, it went through my veins, through my entire body, like blood. And the feeling I have never felt in my entire 31 years of life. A love that does not even exist on this planet. I felt like I was the only human being ever made by the Father in heaven. And all that love belonged to me. It was so beautiful. It was so out of this world. And before we could lock arms, I snapped out of it. I snapped out of my vision that I did not want it to end anymore. I tell you, if I were to see or to have felt that for the rest of my life, I would not be living right, because I would be laying in a puddle of my own tears. I wouldn't be able to live right. The flesh can't handle that kind of love. If you understand what I'm saying. You have to be in the spirit in order to receive that type of love. It is so strong. And I felt that. It was so amazing. He was so beautiful. I've seen his every features, and as an artist, I'm thinking if I should paint what I saw. But because he has such great detail, I know it's going to take me a long time. So I'm really thinking about painting it. But I'll describe to you, his eyes were like an olive green. He had beautiful eyebrows. He had beautiful, delicate, fair skin. It wasn't too dark. It wasn't too light. I don't even know if it was like perfectly in the middle. I want to say that, but it's like his skin was almost translucent. He had light just shining from in him. And if you touch the top of your shoulders, that's where his hair length ended. He also wasn't draped in a robe. He was perfectly tailored, fitted in a robe where you can see his masculinity. It was perfect. You can see that he has muscle. And he doesn't look like a bodybuilder. He has natural, strong muscles like a stallion, like a horse. And he allowed me to see his beautiful features. So when I saw that, it melted my heart. I was so in love. I didn't want it to end. As a matter of fact, I started to cry. I went from a dry face to a streaming river down my neck in a matter of like 0 seconds. And then for a little while, I forgot. It's like the enemy took away that vision from me. I knew that's what happened because when Facebook reminded me after I shared it, it reminded me in a year. And after a year, and I read it and I said, I remember telling myself, I don't remember this vision. And then slowly it started to come back to me. And I said to myself, how on earth could I have ever forgotten such a beautiful vision? When Jesus received me unto himself, it was just me and him. And he showed off all of his love he had for me. Like all of my sins were completely washed. So I wanted to share that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see what else I have. So I'll go ahead and read these bottom two here. And I have to come back a little later because I got things to do. So right here I have Random Visions 2020, where I had seen a golden heart. I also had seen a white, cleaned, fine linen hanging on a clothesline, flapping in the wind, and a ball of light shining through it. That was pretty awesome. I believe that symbolizes being cleansed in Jesus' blood, being washed and forgiven. Because why else would a freshly clean linen be hanging over a clothesline? As if saying it is drying. What happens prior to drying? You have a washing, you have a cleansing, cleaning of the spirit. White represents righteousness. So I received that. And also I have here reading the Bible. Every time I get deep in the Bible, I feel his presence for a second. And I never want it to end. I see visions of happy places every time. So that's what I put at the very end. You can see that there. A little later, I will get to other visions and stuff. But right now, I have to go. But I want to leave you with those because they're very encouraging. And I tell you, if I would have never received these kind of visions, I wouldn't know what promise I have in Jesus. if I have to be a tribulation saint, which I hope I don't, but if I have to be, my promise is in Jesus. I still have one thing to look forward to, and that's heaven. And I'm sure you do too. So anyway, this is where I leave you, and I will return soon to finish the rest of this video, okay? You guys have a great day. Be blessed, be happy, and stay in forgiveness with others if you want to be forgiven. Just think about that every day and remind yourself, don't let the enemy get to you. I love you all. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.